here we are. It's Sunday afternoon Bible story time, and I thought you was never going to get me out of that truck. I know, Chesley, we're running a little behind, but that's all right. And I know because you were studying, you had things to do. Okay, here we go. It is Easter Sunday. Yes, Chesley, it's Resurrection Day. It was many years ago when Jesus rose victorious over death, hell, and the grave. No, he's over it all. He is victorious. Yes, it is. He is, Chesley, and he wants us to be people that are happy, or we live in victory and happiness because we know him. That's right, because we know him. This gospel train is chugging at the track, chugging at the track, it's chugging at the track. This gospel train is chugging at the track, chugging to the glory land, and get on board this gospel train. Yes, you can, yes, you can. Oh, get on board this gospel train. Yes, you can, yes, you can. Yes, Chesley, we get on board this gospel train. We love the Lord and want to serve him. And anyone can if they want to love the Lord. That's right. It's people that love the Lord and just want to serve him and want to be like him. And Chesley, today we have a real good example. You know, Jesus was our example. And he always did the right thing. He did the right thing at the right time, the right way. And so that's our example. And we want to be like him. What happens when they said? Well, Chesley, if we do the wrong thing, we need to be repenting and ask the Lord to forgive us. It's a repenting thing. Well, that's when you come to the Lord and you tell him you know you've done wrong, that we didn't do like him. And he helps you. He helps us. That's what he does. Exactly. So we appreciate his willingness to help us. And always, he loves us so much. He wants to help us. Now, Chesley, I think about the overwhelming, matchless love of Jesus. He did good when being wronged in the worst way. I mean, so we're going to talk about that today. And the title of our lesson is Jesus' Last Healing. Malchus' ear. Jesus' last healing. You know, he was always going about good, always healing people. He was meeting their needs, whatever it was. He was helping them. And if they was blind or anything, it was anything. That's right. If they were blind, and he was reaching out, telling people that they could live for him, they could have their sins taken away, even if they was tax collectors, that's right, even the tax collectors. He was reaching out because Jesus loved everybody, and all they needed to do was come to him, and I know what this is. I think you're supposed to start living like him, and they could have Jesus in their life. And he come into their heart. That's right. You say, Jesus, come into my heart. I want you. And that's not that thumping thing. No, it's not the thumping thing. No, that's that part of us that can know the Lord, that can serve him and love him. That's what we're talking about, Chesley. Oh, the overwhelming, matchless love of Jesus. He did good no matter what. Now, we're finding this is from Luke chapter 22, verse 47 through 51. You know, okay, and here it is, Jesus' last healing. He healed so many people while he was here. In fact, we don't know how many because they didn't keep track. Well, Chesley, they might not have kept track. We don't know how many it was. But we've seen where he just certain things. Oh, Chesley, it was anything. It was any kind of disease that would come up. I mean, even leprosy that was, that thing, that just impossible. It might have seemed impossible, but not with Jesus. He could heal it. He took care of it. People, if they were blind or deaf, just any kind of disease you could ever think of. I mean, Jesus, he was the master of it all. He was the master of it all. He could heal and deliver and set people free. But Chesley, he was so hated. Why was he hated? Chesley, he was good. He did nothing but good. And that's what he had come to be. He'd get to show us the example of the way that he was the Son of God. His goodness and kindness and the things that he did, it proved over and again he was the Son of God. That those people didn't love him. You're right. They didn't love him. In fact, they wanted to kill him. No, it's what you like killing. He's good. But Chesley, that was just they were so full of evil, and they didn't like what he said when he pointed out their sin. He could take it away. It's right. He could take it away. He was always doing good. And Chesley, what I want us to notice in particular today is that Jesus did good even when others did bad to him. And Chesley, unfortunately, it was some of the church people, some of the leaders. No, what's that wrong with them? They're supposed to be examples. They're supposed to be the examples. But Chesley, unfortunately, They didn't think Jesus was the Son of God. And though he was the Son of God, but he didn't just quit. He didn't just go there and cry and just run away and say, they don't believe me, Father. Yes, he could have gone to his Father in heaven and said, they don't believe me. I'm just going to quit. But he didn't do that because of love. Love. He loved his Father and he loved us. You wasn't here yet. I know we weren't here yet, but he knew all these people were going to be born, and no matter how all these, just think of the thousands of years, yeah, he loves. He still loves and cares. He's reaching out. He has this plan of salvation. You just receiving, and then you're on your way to heaven. That's right, on our way to heaven. But now here's what happened. He had what was called the Last Supper, and he did everything he could for his disciples. He was reaching out to them, and they had this meal together, and he knew that one of them was going to betray him. Uh-oh, what's name going to turn on him? One of them was going to turn on him, and he knew that. Oh, he was reaching out. At the very last, he was still reaching out. Oh, I see Alicia's watching. Yes, that's the only name we see right now. We're glad to see Alicia watching, though. She's faithful. Yeah, I like it. I wish I could meet her. Well, maybe sometime we'll get to meet her. You never know. But anyway, Chesley, let's go back to where Jesus was. Now as he was reaching out, and he said, one of you is going to betray me. No, turn on him. Yes, one of you is going to turn on me. And you know what? The disciples each one begin to say, is it me? Is it me? You mean they didn't know? Or Chesley, the one that was guilty, knew. And that was Judas Iscariot. He knew. He knew he was. And Jesus knew that. Jesus did know which one it was. And you know what Jesus was doing? He was reaching out right now to show him, you can turn it, you can change. You don't have to go ahead and do what your plans are. But you know what? He just acted like he was innocent. And all the other ones were saying it too. They was asking, is it me? That's what they were saying, is it me? Is it me? Or is it me? And even Judas says, is it me? And the Lord said, you've spoken. Well, you know what, Chesley? The Lord, he washed their feet. Oh, they came here with dirty feet. No, Chesley, see, the deal was they wore sandals. And there, when you got someplace, that was the first thing you did was a servant came and washed the people's feet. And so Jesus was a servant. That's what he did, just like did the servant's job. He didn't call for the servants. There again, he was showing them of his love, of his care, and his compassion for them, reaching out to them. And you know something? It should have made Judas feel guilty. Judas should have felt guilty. He may have felt guilt. But more than that, he was so upset with Jesus. For me, I don't know why he was like that, Chesley. I don't know. He was a man. He was really, he took care of the money, and that's okay. But we found out he was cheating. He was actually taking some of the money. His heart's not right. His heart was not right. It just was not. But anyway, Chesley, as Jesus met their needs and they had their meal together, and then as they left, well, then before it was all over with, and there he was taken in, he was there praying in the Garden of Gethsemane. He was praying, he was seeking God, he was wanting to be faithful. He was going to do a terrible thing because he was going to have to go to a cross. Yes, Chesley, that was coming, but he loved us so much he was willing. Oh, and here he was just praying and all, and the disciples, they got sleepy, they didn't pray, but he said, you need to pray because things are going to get rough. They were just so sleepy, and they just thought they'd always had Jesus. That's what they thought. They'd always have Jesus. He would always be there. But all of a sudden, then here comes this crowd, and here it is. It's the soldiers, and they got these spears and things. And look who's coming. It's Judas. Judas. Here comes Judas. And he went up, and he betrayed Jesus with a kiss because he had told him, the one I kiss, you're going to probably just kiss him on just up there on the cheek, just let him know, this is the guy, this is the man. Oh, and my, it's a terrible thing. I know what happened there next. I know what, did it get serious? Yes, it got serious. I tell you what, Peter did. He had his sword, and he just reached out, and he killed him. No, Chesley, he didn't kill anybody. But what he did, here was the high priest. It was his servant. The high priest, what's he doing here? Well, Chesley, he didn't believe Jesus was the Son of God. He's evil. That's sad. He was evil. But here was his servant there, and Peter just reached up, and he just about cut the ear off of the servant was named Malchus. No, and he hurt his ear. Yes, he did. He had his ear probably, I think, hanging. But you know what, Chesley? I tell you what, I think I'd run away. You know what Jesus did? I think he said that serves you right. No, he did not. Jesus, healed his ear. He touched his ear. He healed him. Can you imagine the last healing? This is the last healing that Jesus did before he was crucified. He was still reaching out in love. Tana, glad to see you on. Yeah, I don't know Tana. Well, I know Tana, and we're glad to have her watching. She told me here a while back that she watches you. But Chesley, I think of what Jesus, instead of being angry, instead of crying out to his heavenly Father and saying, look what's happening here. You see, it's not there. Why is this happening? No, he didn't do that. This is what he come to show. He was going to be victorious. He was going to live that life and show us the example to live. We're going to get crucified. Well, Chesley, some people are, most people are not, but we know this right now. We're going to talk about what Jesus did. He knew he was going to be crucified, but he knew he was going to rise from the dead, and that way he would be victorious over death. We call being death, hell, and the grave. But right now I want to look at how kind he was, even to the last. He did a healing, and you know what I think? And they all said, oh, we're wrong. Chesley, they should have said that. We're wrong. What in the world? Jesus is good. In fact, he told them, why are you coming with all these spears and swords and all of this out to get me? Yeah, because he didn't go to the temple. That's what he told them. He said, well, I've been in the temple. You could have taken me any time. But they didn't. They didn't do it that way. But though, yes, he did go. He was crucified. Yes, he did rise from the dead. They put him in the grave, but he couldn't stay there because he was the Son of God. He was the Son of God. But look at what he did. Even to the very last, he was doing good. The healing he did. And Chesley, you know what I want to know? Can I interrupt? Yes, you can interrupt. Here's what I want to know. Did that man change? Chesley, I've wondered about that. I have wondered, did Malchus, did he get to thinking about that? I think he was thinking, he must have been the Son of God. He might have thought that. I don't know. But I wonder if there was others there that changed their mind about Jesus. And they saw how kind and how good he was. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that, but again, he was showing them that he wasn't evil, that he was the Son of God. I tell you, Chesley, he was strong. He was so strong, he didn't hold a grudge against anybody. Oh, grudges. Grudges, Chesley. When we're done wrong, sometimes we have a grudge. You know, it means you don't like and you go find something bad to do to it. Oh, we don't want to do that. Find something bad we can do. But let's follow Jesus' example. You know, don't cut off ears. Oh, well, it's not just that. No, we don't want to do harm at all. But I'm thinking about how kind he was, no matter what was done to him. And just look, today he lives forever, and he's in heaven. He's in heaven, and he's watching us. Chesley, he is so good and so kind. He wants us to be like him, and he's going to take care of us all the way till the time comes when we leave this life and we go with him further. Oh, that's a good story, Jesus. You know, what does that scripture say? Do good to those who despitefully use you. You know, Chesley, that way he did good to those that were despitefully using him. They hated him. But you know, Chesley, some of those people, they did, I think, before it's over with, they came around and realized he was the Son of God. When he rose from the dead, no, they said, we know for sure. When he rose from the dead, they knew for sure. But Chesley, this is a great story that I've loved, and I just wanted to tell it today because it was a good story. It's a good one. Jesus was healing people even on his way, actually, when it's going to be taken to the cross. Chesley, it's time for you to go to bed. You know, I think I need some room spray. Yeah, right there in my trunk. In your trunk, you need some trunk spray. Well, actually, your suitcase looks fine to me, and I didn't smell anything. Have you lived in it? No, I haven't lived in it, and I think you're stalling. So tell everybody goodbye. You love them, and you look forward to seeing them next Sunday afternoon, the Lord willing. I look forward to seeing you next Sunday afternoon. I wish I didn't have to go to bed because I'm not sleepy, and I don't think it makes sense. Chesley, that's not the way you should handle this. Did you talk about nettles? I know, Chesley, and you're stalling. Your medals. Yes, we're thankful for Kai that gave you his medals, and you had one or two, and you didn't earn any of them. You were an honorary Royal Ranger. And you don't have to tell them all the details. Well, Chesley, I know, but still just there so everybody knows. But Kai lives in Waxahachie, Texas, he and his wife, and I plan to get to see them early next month when I go down for for a camp meeting, but right now you're going to bed. And I'm going to go to bed and I don't want to, then I will, because it's the right thing to do, because I'm just a kid. That's right. So you tell everybody goodbye. Good night. I love you very, very much. And I love you too. We look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you for watching.